Welcome to the Veranda Report, Gloomy.
Hi.
How are you?
Oh, man, I'm excited.
Well, today I have a little bit of research. I say a little bit, it's actually quite a bit. Let's see if I can get this freaking...
Yeah, you spent like 4 days on it. So we're talking today about Tom MacDonald?
Yes, Tom MacDonald has basically controlled opposition.
Now, I've only seen one music video of his that I can remember.
Right.
That we stopped on, which was the People So Stupid.
That's his most recent. That came out 2 weeks ago today.
Yeah. Yeah. So that being said, that being my first one seen, yeah,
That's actually the reason why I wanted to do this video. I felt compelled because before it was just him capitalizing on an algorithm of a conservative uprising as they were kind of pandering towards that audience. But then it became where they were programming, and I could actually see it and that's towards the end of the
that
presentation.
split cut.
Yeah, that split cut. Where
Yeah.
it's like less than a second of him dressed up as an Antifa member.
That's intentional as shit.
Yeah, you can't do that by accident.
That's literally, you would have to pause the video to even see anything on it. They do not let you even see it. You have to pause it and know there's going to be subliminal messaging into the video.
Right.
So that would be, to me, is that like a comm? Is he giving comms out to people saying like, go?
Right.
What is he doing? Because the radicalization's there because you literally have to pause it to know there's even a message in it.
I honestly think that it's subliminal programming. I really do think it's a level of programming that a lot of people aren't aware of. It's kind of like the watching of The Purge and various things that bring you to the inclination of violence. So a little bit of history to it. I was actually a Tom MacDonald fan because of his songs that were pretty much calling out political correct culture and victimhood and identity politics and things like that. But once that video came out, I went into a rabbit hole of researching Tom MacDonald. And what I found was pretty enlightening. I stopped being a fan of his whenever it came down to Mac Lethal and his diss tracks against each other. But in that diss track, I did see something interesting, very interesting, regarding his past. He threw in a wrestling clip from his early days. Back then, he didn't have any tattoos at all on his entire body. And he was in the entertainment industry in Canada and didn't really make it anywhere. So what I started to look into is his past and how he started on YouTube. And you get to a lot of songs like this, comes down to If I Changed. If I Changed is actually about him as a priest who's baptizing people in a river, but after every baptism, he pulls out a gun and shoots them in the head, right? Then he tries to kill himself, which is that thumbnail right there, but he's out of bullets. What the fuck just happened? Oh, I held down control for too long. Had to have been it. Some of his first songs were not very recognized, obviously, because he was just coming up, but in Tom MacDonald's If I Change, this is a very sacrilegious song where he baptizes several people, killing them. So he tries to kill himself, but he's out of bullets, then goes through a walk through a forest, removing all of his robes and clothing, and then casts his crucifix necklace over a waterfall. So it's kind of symbolic of discarding religion. And also the song is along the lines of, if I change, will you still be a fan? Because I'm going to change. Whenever I tried to go look up the lyrics to If I Change after I watched the music video, I saw that there are almost no lyrics for that entire album except for From the Jump and How the West Won, which kind of makes sense from the jump. Cocaine I Probably Should, No Shame in Hollywood. In his lyrics for Dear Rappers, it says, you're living in a country that elected Donald Trump. You're living in a country where police are killing people every day. Right? So it kind of makes it to where Donald Trump is the reason
like
for this.
Gaslight.
Yeah, and then at the same time, he's making it seem like police violence is a serious issue, which I don't downplay the seriousness of brutality when it happens, but it's not as prevalent as people are making it out to be, especially on the left.
And then and the left likes to always bring in, they're like, well, a large portion of police are white supremacists. It's like, well, okay.
Where's your evidence to that?
I mean, well, if they were to pull them up, it'd be FBI statistics just saying the FBI went basically underground in law enforcement to see if there's white supremacy.
Right.
That just goes to show you that the FBI is already working on it.
Yeah, if there is a systemic
federal
racism.
agencies are already working, and then you got people who just will never believe anything other than what they want, and they'll just be like, yeah, I don't care what FBI is. They're controlled by the same people. They're white supremacists too. They're all white supremacists. Everybody's a white supremacist. Even black people, they're white supremacists.
Oh goodness, yeah. No, that's a really good point.
God, what is that one? The one with the Lamborghini. No, you showed me that one. That one.
Yeah,
got
that was
me.
the music industry, and that was a moment where I was still kind of on his side because I felt as though he was exposing some of this stuff, but it ends up that he's involved with it. Well, come on, you can do it. You can do it. There it is. So this was how the West was won. Well, this is right before all the videos started to trend, like Hell of It and Dear Rappers and Castles and shit like that. This is the one that had lyrics on it, other than From the Jump. And it's dedicated to victims of police brutality and those affected by terrorism around the world. So they just conflated police brutality after making it more prevalent, but they conflated it with terrorism. Okay? Look at the date down there. Look at here. It says that it was August 15th, 2016. Why that was important to me was because it was right after the summer of 2016, which for all those Q people out there understand, and people who've done the research, that this was the start of the first Black Lives Matter movement where Colin Kaepernick took a knee. Yep. So you could say he was writing an algorithm, that this has been politically motivated because it happens the summer between the re-election of Donald Trump and the original election of Donald Trump right before the summer of.
Yeah. And everybody's been pointing that out. Every 4 years, we're going to have uprisings.
Yeah.
During an election year. It's obvious.
And so you could say that he was writing the algorithm back then, but here is his example of Black Tuesday. Apparently it didn't age very well with his fans. Right here, somebody put, F no. There's a face palm emoji. Someone just flat out says no. Because people were waking up. Like, right up here you have like fires and an Amen Tom, but ultimately this didn't age well. This was back on June 2nd. This was actually Blackout Tuesday, what they did there.
What is it?
That was Blackout Tuesday. It was where all of Instagram was, and other other social medias were just putting up a completely plain black
square. Black
square, yeah. They called it Blackout Tuesday. It was supposed to show support for Black Lives Matter, but it ended up being like really counterproductive. Yeah, because no one was. It was just a black square. It was basically just one of those things.
Hey, we have people dying on the street. You want to put a black square on your Facebook?
Right. This was Tom MacDonald going all lefty on us regarding the coronavirus. Here it says, we need to come together to stop this. Be smart, be strong, be safe. Together we will overcome. Do your part.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So he played into the whole CDC narrative here.
Gotta do your part.
Gotta do your part, even if you're healthy.
Jesus.
So I went into the song to see what was up, and look at how prophetic this guy was.
Oh my God! Yeah, I forgot he did make a whole coronavirus song.
Yeah, but look at the lyrics. Wait a week till the riots. Wait a month till the only way to eat is be violent. It's not the sickness that's scary; it's all the people who are violent. So congratulations for rhyming violent with violent.
Yep.
Tom MacDonald really doesn't rap all that much. He's not
he just
rhyming
sends out
all
comms at this point, is what it looks like.
It came out. I think it was March 18th, so this is well before George Floyd or any of the riots. Here he's going with another CDC narrative. There's no vaccines and medication made that can fight it. Not cure it. No fight. You can't treat it, apparently. There's no treatments, no vaccines, no medication. There's obviously no vaccine, but to say that there's no medication.
Well, see, there's that hook, too, right there. I guess it's time to pray to God. We can't rely on the science.
Right.
It's like... it's gaslighting both sides.
It says, and most of us are young enough to think that we're immune, so we just pass it on to people who won't survive it like you.
Oh, God.
Yeah, asymptomatic symptoms, so that's another CDC narrative. Even healthy people have to quarantine and wear masks and stuff like that.
Even though Dr. Fauci, he came out at the start and said, don't wear one unless you're sick. Yeah. Now he's like, dude, we got to cover all bases, put the goggles on.
So basically, I'm going to now go into how... the entire time, Nova Rockefeller and Tom MacDonald have always been a bait and switch. He's wearing an I Heart Jesus shirt right here, and he's wearing No Lives Matter. It's important to note that this was June 5th, 2017.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go into how Nova Rockefeller is controlling Tom. Here is a post on her Instagram that is from January 1st, 2017. This is pretty much when they got together, from my understanding. I don't know the exact date that happened, but it's been basically around 4 years. It says, "How did it take us 10 years of being best friends to realize that we're perfect together?" Right? So this guy was friend zoned for 10 years and then finally got with this girl.
By a Rockefeller.
By a Rockefeller, that's not actually her real last name.
No,
Her last name is Polowick
I know. I just
or
think
something.
it's funny because she decided to pick Rockefeller.
Maybe she didn't, and I can get into that here in a second.
Please do. I'd like to hear that.
Yeah. So here it says, felt like it was falling apart. We wrote songs, so many songs. One night we sat together with our foreheads pressed together and tried to figure out a hook. So here she's talking about the history of their friendship and how she's been writing songs with him. I bring up Mac Lethal again in regards to the Single White Female disc that he wrote, because in this song, the lyrics actually say, "We got mutual friends, they gave me dirt, these are facts. Your girlfriend ghost writes half your raps." So Mac Lethal was already onto this. He caught onto this a while back ago. I mean, this is almost 2 years old now, year and a half, pretty much.
Are they both from California?
All right, okay, so Tom MacDonald's Canadian. He's from Canada.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Mac Lethal's a Kansas City-based rapper, so he's just a little bit north of us, just a couple hours. Yeah. It's cool to see him live, too. All right. Here is an...
Mess up on you?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Let's see it. You're not cutting this out.
No. Might as well not.
Look at that face.
All right, so it says right here, your girl co-wrote the hook on a bop. We're number one on iTunes hip-hop charts. This is August 28th, so they just dropped their song, People So Stupid, and she's talking about having co-written the hook. So she talked about it basically having written with him 10 years ago so many songs, then mentioned it again on last year's Valentine's Day about how many hooks and shit they wrote together. And then she's talking about co-writing on this song in particular. That's the hook, but that's all she's admitting to right now. There's probably a lot more, especially if you look at how they use slant rhymes to basically not rhyme when they rap.
Mm-hmm.
Their first single, I'm Not Well, is from their band that they made in 2017 called GFBF. She's got horns. She's holding a heart. This guy's missing a heart. He's crying. Doesn't that kind of look like somebody's owned on a subliminal, symbolic level?
Yes.
Here's a picture of them together, and there's the upside down cross, and there's a cross there. Go on further. This is him, but he didn't get to choose the screenshot because she's been directing his videos for quite some time. She does the video shoots, and she does the editing and whatnot. Or I don't know about the shoots, but I know she's been doing the editing. It says it at the end of almost all of his videos. But she decided to go with, that image there because, I'm sure he agreed to that, even if he didn't. He's dating her. This I wanted to show because at the very end of, and I think you watched this one with me too, is where he's wearing the ski mask that says "Make America Hate Again."
Yeah.
The song is called "Everybody Hates Me," and at the end of the song, which Nova Rockefeller edited, she put a collection of behind-the-scenes clips. And she put a couple of them that are happy, like where he's kind of laughing it off. But I put those at the beginning so that way you can contrast them to the sad moments that he has. And you can watch this. I took out the audio for copyright reasons.
That's sad to see, man.
Yeah, no,
honestly, it's like a little fucking puppet.
pretty much. And whenever you look at history of him being
But he gets so much
friend
money.
zoned for 10 years.
Yeah, and he's so owned.
Right.
But he thinks that it was all worth the money. It's like at the end of it, you just kind of realize tattooing your face, hair like that. I mean, just being nonsensical. Yeah, I mean, to me, personal opinion though. But I mean, look where it gets you. Unhappy. You've had to be something you weren't your entire life to make money.
So I looked at Nova's history by going to her website, which is, of course, novarockefeller.com. But there's a blog that's about racism. Yeah, when I watched Candace Owens' video, I thought to myself, this girl has major balls to be saying this ish, and the facts and statistics she provided were well selected, indicating cherry-picked, to make her point. But I'm not buying it, because the fact that police target and harass black people more so than white people is just a fact to me. And then she goes into, I asked my friends about it, and then she has all these anecdotal pieces of evidence to provide. Then it gets into, and this is where it gets implicitly racist, and she doesn't even know it. It's painful for me to think about black kids being exposed to the media right now, which she's a part of, because now she's like a mainstream rapper, and feeling like they aren't good enough and thinking that people will always treat them a little worse because black skin isn't as valuable as white skin. She didn't say because society thinks black skin isn't as valuable as white skin. She just straight out says black skin isn't as valuable as white skin. Yeah, that's some pretty twisted logic, right? That makes her the racist one.
Yeah.
But this is the crew that she ran with. This is July 19th, 2016, the anarchist symbol that everyone's familiar with. This is before she had an upside-down cross tattooed to her neck, but she still has F the police. And then down here you could see I do what I want, which, as you know, with Aleister Crowley, that is related to do what thou wilt, which is a Satanist belief. Go on further. She's following a black... this is her Instagram, and this is her followers, or who she's following. And this is Elvin Estella, Black Lives Matter supporter, and then King Cleo. Just to give you some context on King Cleo, this is some of her stuff. Systemic racism explained. Be a better white person. That's not going to age well. Oh, yeah, and then there's Filipinos for... It's supposed to be Filipino, but they replaced the X, or the O and an A with an X in order to be gender sensitive.
You know, it's funny. Everybody fights for somebody to be, to take away their whiteness, and then whenever it comes out on policy, everybody shits on the entire company. I mean, look at look at Goodyear, for example. Immediately, within one day, Donald Trump's like, "Yeah, man, I'm pretty sure we're gonna just take off Goodyear tires on the Beast." I mean, yeah, come out with your policy for dictating, what you need to have a lack of whiteness, individuality. They already did that in Seattle.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty hilarious. And then these people are just the people you listen to music to, but they're pushing it. Just like athletes.
Right.
That's why NBA stats are down. It's because they're pushing Black Lives Matter. I couldn't believe it whenever I came over and you were watching the Rockets play. Yeah.
Dude, this woman that she follows is also very racist. This is a part of the product of an environment example, drowned out by white opinion and information. I want black folks the space to express themselves without being drowned out by the white opinion and misinformation. And then she puts this, which is just great. I think this is great. I urge influencers to use their platforms and follow in the footsteps of organizations that are experienced in social justice. This is where it gets bad. And to not blindly start their own protests or movements. This happened before Save Our Children was trending. So she was basically saying, only focus on what we want you to focus on. And don't start your own movement. Don't think for yourself. Just follow. And it gets emphasized here at the end. Please follow reliable sources who have been in this movement much longer than you. Like, how much more authoritarian can you get? Let's just follow. Let's follow.
Hey, that's why I like Q.
Yeah.
That's why I like Q, is because we've literally just been told to critically think.
Oh, and then silence is violence was the hashtag they were using for Blackout Tuesday, because if you didn't choose a side, then you were choosing a side, if you know what I mean. Like you were on the evil side if you didn't speak up about
It's
it.
the definition of how Me Too is a slippery slope. These type of organizations and the way these people run this shit.
It's extremely divisive.
Yeah. Because on every single idea, you're going to have an extremist for that idea because they're going to run with it.
Right.
You give somebody an idea, let them run with it for 20 years. I'll tell you, they probably know the best in and outs of that idea.
This is Nova Rockefeller's Instagram again on her supporting masks in different ways.
Gucci, that's not, that's not white privilege.
There right there is the upside down cross tattooed to her neck.
It's fading out.
This one's kind of funny because she put, yeah, I'm that person too, and you should be. Or I'm that person and you should be too, right? Now, this is what's really cool about it. Look in the background right there. What do you see?
Yeah. No mask.
No mask on this person here. So she's like, I don't know. That's weird. Because she's all anarchist and bring down the establishment. When the establishment tells her to put on a mask, she doesn't fight it at all. She's playing into it. So it's like, how anti-establishment are you? I thought you were about anarchy.
That just runs back to everybody's got a narrative.
So this is the very first post that she had on her website from her blog. So
Look at her. She looks so happy.
Yeah, I'm going to get into this.
She's ready for a Comic-Con.
At 23 or 24, my dream came true. Signed a record deal with Mercury Records. Okay, not really knowing what I was signing even today. 7 years later, I still have to call my music industry mentors to have them once again repeatedly explain things like publishing and master splits and royalties. It's complicated-ish, honestly. My lawyer looked it over. I'm not a complete idiot, but she did admit to being an idiot. So she gets into signing a contract, and she was working with people who worked with freaking Beyonce and Eminem, as she puts it.
Freaking Beyonce and Eminem.
Yeah, so for all my Out of Shadows people out there, you understand the implications of that there.
Was that the slippery slope?
That might be where she messed up. So she gets into how much she wrote, which was a lot if you really get into the blog here. And it's like, guess how many songs my major record label put out? 3. Which would be very upsetting. Okay? So whenever you go back to her Twitter, she's actually very recently, August 21st, and I think that's actually the day that they dropped the People So Stupid song. She's like, new plan to deal with people I hate. Give them a record deal. Torture them with label notes for 2 years, shelve them permanently without releasing anything, own them forever. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah.
It kind of sounds like she's talking about her life, like a personal experience, like as though she's owned forever.
Well,
Yeah.
Great minds think alike.
So she apparently got signed by this Hot Carl guy from 2011, whenever she collaborated with him. I went to this biography from Famous People Today. Let's see here. And Hot Carl, whenever I went to go look him up, his real name is, this guy's known as Hot Carl, his real name is Jensen Karp. And if you go to his Wikipedia, it says he currently manages Nova Rockefeller, a Canadian rapper, on Boardwalk/Mercury Records. I don't think she's with Mercury Records anymore, but she definitely was, and it says that he's the manager. I don't know how true that is, but Mercury Records was owned, or is owned, by Universal Music Group, and Universal Music Group just lost 10% of their stake to Tencent, which is a Chinese multinational technology conglomerate holding company, and that happened in 2020, just this year. So, yeah. Interpret that as you would like to. Going back to
China.
Right. China. Going back to Jensen Karp's Wikipedia page, I wanted to go ahead and follow up on perhaps, what his ideology is. And it looks like he's just a super lefty. Look at that. It worked for Herman Cain. Black Lives Matter. Yeah. So this guy's pretty extreme lefty. How could anyone struggling to pay rent vote for him just because he used fireworks to spell his name? Like, that was a lot of money. Compared to Mr. Beast, who blows away like $500,000 in fireworks, and people just subscribe to him.
Literally, he could bring a whole city, and to just, he would take them out of poverty.
Yeah,
but he spends it all on fireworks, shitting on people, just
buying private islands,
wrecking cars.
Boats, it's crazy,
cars,
stupid.
Literally makes episodes about how
I
he's...
hate Mr. Beast so
Yeah,
much.
no, same. He sits there, he'll buy a house and destroy it just so he can tell you about how he bought
And think
E3.
about the Luciferian implication of Beast.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into that, though. Anyways, this guy, Jensen Karp, super racist. Not super racist. He's extremely liberal lefty, trying to call the president a racist.
I'd say if we get to know him, he's probably a racist.
So that was Hot Carl, but it says down there, Rockefeller signed a partnership with Boardwalk Records. Now, partnership makes it sound like she's not with the record company, but if you already signed a record deal with Mercury, who's owned by Universal, who has a 10% stake from China, or it's 10% of their stocks are staked in China right now, it's pretty indicative of some other shit. So this is her new album that she was trying to say she's super proud of on her first blog post about being an independent versus a label-owned artist, and it's called AMPT. What's obvious about this in particularly,
Look at the devil whispering in her ear.
yeah, a little demon with a mustache.
Yeah.
She put a link to her album here, and it's from Boardwalk EG, which is Boardwalk Entertainment Group. Go to her Instagram and who she's following again, and it's Boardwalk Records and Publishing. Go on further. Boardwalk Records is owned by one of the founder's sons, Evan Kidd Bogart. So,
Bogart.
yeah, Bogart. That's it. Don't Bogart that joint, my friend. All right. So just to check and see if he's actually a successful individual, his music has been nominated for 3 Grammy Awards, winning 1. So I would pretty much consider him a part of the elite. And then also Hot Carl, he's actually the writer and executive producer of Drop the Mic from TBS. Yeah, so he's also highly successful. Here's her Instagram again, where she is following Evan Kidd Bogart. If you go to the Boardwalk Music Group's Twitter, you can see that on this roster here, you see Nova Rockefeller right here, all blatantly, right? Right next to Blended Babies.
Blended. I was about to say,
what's up with the Blended Babies? I don't know. Then Boardwalk Music Group, the Twitter, actually promoted your song. We're number 1 on iTunes hip hop charts. Good for you, co-writing that hook, Ghostwriter.
Oh, God.
Nicolas Cage, Ghostwriter. This is Evan Bogart's not documentary, but it's a biography from Techonomy.
He looks like a Bogart.
Yeah, he kind of does look like a Bogart.
He looks like he'd Bogart that joint.
If the only achievement Evan Kidd Bogart ever achieved, if the only accomplishment Evan Kidd Bogart ever achieved was discovering Eminem at a rap competition and passing along his tape to Interscope. Oh, wow, imagine that. This guy found Eminem. In that blog post, she was talking about how she was working with people who were working with Beyonce and Eminem. And the person who owns the current record label that she works with, a partnership with, not under apparently, is this guy, who's already won a Grammy, and he's the guy who found Eminem. Most notably found Eminem. Here's his Twitter. Once again, we got super lefty stuff.
Oh my
Completely politically biased, playing into the COVID-19 narrative, talking crap on Donald Trump, our president. So that's how she's label owned. Now, backing up, this is where this is all coming to an end here. I just got 2 things left, which is the Satanism and the programming from the most recent song. This is the Satanism. So I was trying to play doubt beneficiary, like give her benefit of the doubt, because she had an Add Jesus shirt. Okay? And I'm like, okay, that's not too bad. But then Tom's jacket, his denim jacket here says, I do not live in the dark. The dark lives in me. Right? Yeah. And this is 2017, so they've been together for a little while here. I'm like, benefit of the doubt, right? She's got a crucifix and fate on a necklace, right? But then it says, no more fate friends. Really? It's kind of obvious at that point. But you could just say she's trying to be edgy, right?
Yeah.
God loves you. I'm like, hell yeah, God does love you. But then you look at the text, she put, yes, I do love you. As though she's God. So that's, obviously sacrilegious.
I saw earlier, you're God right there.
Yeah, you called it.
By God.
Yeah, that was the very next image.
Yeah, that's whenever a demon lets their ego get better than them.
And then here's Daughter of God. It's spelt wrong. It's supposed to be a U. I think she meant to be like God as in gaudy, shiny, and lustrous. Then there's King Cleo that she tagged in this. I already showed you King Cleo. That was the Black Lives Matter movement Filipino chick. And yeah, I do what I want. That's Aleister Crowley, Do What Thou Wilt. Here she has like a very close to the medical symbol, the serpent, right? Saw my first snake, had to commemorate. Thanks. That's weird. Of course, you already saw the demons on her AMPT album cover. Yep. Here's the name of her dog. Brucifer. Right? How much more blatant can you get? Turn that frown into blood. Oh, this is her hanging art. This is just hanging art in her house. This is just sitting above her bed where she sleeps.
No kidding.
Yeah, no shit. Go on further. Oh, yep, demon.
Love that.
Yep. Oh, wow. Oh, and then, Monarch program, there's the cheetah print for people who, all my Out of Shadows people. Then you got Manson. I'm pretty sure that's Charles Manson inside an upside-down pentagram. Yeah. And then she's, of course, got the upside-down cross. So she's really capitalizing on it all in one moment right there. And people can say, that she's just being edgy, but it's a lot. It's a lot of evidence stacked up against you.
A lot more than edgy.
Yeah. Oh, man, that one's bad. So she's holding Brucifer. She's throwing up the horns. She's got unholy on the hat. And then to top it all off, she's got the actual seal of Satan.
You got to think about it like this. Who goes out and buys that? Who? I mean, out of
maybe it was a band she liked.
A normal person does not just walk into a place and I mean, okay, you tell me what place you're walking into that's normal that's just selling unholy hats.
So here's Jesus on my neck because the cross, right?
Yeah,
that's on her neck. So I'm gonna just get into the lyrics right quick. She wrote, "A name I wrote on paper set to flame and then swallow because the sacrifice was safer." Right?
So we're getting into ball worship.
Right. All the blood that's on my hands can never get washed off. This is the same song, Jesus on my neck. All right, and there's some imagery from Jesus on my neck. There's the upside down cross here. It's pretty dark to see. I'll probably put it up in post. But
kind of funny how she's green.
Yeah, it was weird. Here's some merch. Jesus on my neck. There's good old Jesus with his eyes.
Upside down cross.
Upside down cross, yeah.
These people, man.
All right, so this is the first Instagram post that she even revealed that she had this tattoo. Now, check out the date, which is the January 10th, 2018. And then this person, a concerned fan, was like, "Why the upside down cross? Can you explain? Do you love Jesus or not? I don't care either way. Rather if you loved him, but it's up to you. Worried about you and Tom. Is it just self-expression? Don't hate on me, please, for loving the Creator." I'm sorry that she had to apologize for that, but felt like she had to. Didn't actually have to. This was her response, so it's not really up to speculation. She actually explained it herself. "I just like the idea of turning the entire system upside down, and the system was built on Catholicism. So when asked, do you love Jesus still? She doesn't say, yes, I still love Jesus.
Like the idea of turning the entire system upside down.
Which aligns with her anarchy ways from the past. Yeah. And that she thinks the system was built on Catholicism. Then you start to look at these lyrics again from Tom MacDonald. They claim I'm a Satanist. Hitler's my cousin. I beat up a kid, abusing children.
Oh, God.
I killed Bambi while hunting. I heard he's Illuminati. I heard he's related to Trump. Whoa. I heard he's reptilian, probably. So they just threw in Trump in there because apparently in this conservative's mindset, Trump is equivalent to being in the Illuminati, being a Satanist, Hitler's cousins, beating up children, or being reptilian. They just threw it in there. Right?
I heard he's reptilian, probably.
Yeah, this is anchoring. That's subliminal anchoring.
Yeah. Because there are people that specifically look up reptilians.
Right.
There are people who specifically look up Illuminati.
And also bloodlines.
And bloodlines.
Especially with QAnon.
Oh, absolutely.
So
actually, I have a friend that specifically does that.
This is another example of them just putting it on our face. Being in the Illuminati ain't all it's cracked up to be. Taking over the world is exhausting. These meetings suck. Or these meetings are boring and the food sucks. At least I got this sweet outfit. I don't like...
Hangover Gang.
Yeah, wow. And this is I Don't Care. This is a promotion for a song, I Don't Care, where he pretty much admits to being an industry plant, contradicting himself. He put up a pyramid. You Sold Out is down here.
Lost me as a fan. I don't like you
The
anymore.
money got to him.
Yeah.
Right? So he's just kind of prepared. And he also prepared for it in the song If I Change. And then he puts out I Don't Care.
You know what's kind of funny? On all these instances, everybody goes that, the money got to you. The money got to you. I think, if you look deeply at what we're really looking at, yeah, that's what got to them. Hollywood.
And you remember his first song from the jump said, "There's no shame in Hollywood."
Yeah.
Yeah. No shame in Hollywood. He's got Hollywood tattooed to his neck, and he's got the upside down cross right there.
See, this starts the day you're born. Whenever, yeah.
Look at this. You're talking about dogs. There's a hellhound right there. There's a burning church. He's actually got the lyrics to a Led Zeppelin song called No Quarter. He's got no quarter on the side of his face as well. But this Led Zeppelin song is about a Viking trek to go warn a village that people are coming or something like that. It's about walking with death and the devil at the same time. Angel looting somebody, making away with the money. Another hint at being a Trojan horse. And he's also got cuffs or coffins on his hand. And if you look up Hastine from Vikings, actually, you might have actually seen the episode where Hastine hides in a coffin and then pretends that he's dead. And then he comes out, and it's pretty much the Trojan horse, but he uses a coffin instead. It's the Viking equivalent to the Trojan horse, but it's a coffin. And it's a Hastine myth where he accidentally ended up in the wrong city too. He tried to get Rome and take over Rome, but it was the wrong city. Anywho, yeah, there's just a lot of, if you really look at these tattoos, it doesn't look all that great.
No. And like I was saying, I mean, this type of stuff, even you showed me at the earlier years of him.
Yeah.
This starts early. It starts at your prime beliefs. Like, were you born in a family that solely believes in God and you believe in God? Because if you do that, you're not going to turn into primarily that unless you're trying to reject what you've grew up on.
Right.
And once you try and reject it on what you grew up on, and if you let your mind be so squishy and to jump into anything you can believe without doing thorough research, that's why you
critical thinking a lot.
Yeah, critical thinking. I mean, you look at this and anybody can tell you that it's absolutely ridiculous.
Got a little bit of Viking theme going there. A little bit. Not really much, but
yeah.
With this new album he put out, Gravestones, he's got Satanic Rappers as one of the songs, but you have to pay for it to listen to it or get the lyrics. This is an 11-minute, no ID produced track. It's a diss track mainly aimed at Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion following the release of their popular song WAP. Guest appearances from Nas and Lil Nas X. And then at the very last 3 minutes, it's a song feature Tom reciting the lyrics to a popular Logic song, Don't Be Afraid to Be Different, in the spoken word format. There's a lot of irony to using Nas and Lil Nas. This guy blew up from being the Old Town Road rapper. Yeah. And then, came out as gay afterwards. Not
Nas
really all that relevant. And then
really
Nas has been huge for a long time. Yeah. Anywho, let's see here. Very last thing, the programming. Now, I find it interesting that he's going to come out with a song about satanic rappers, allegedly, and I would assume to make it seem like he's calling them out. But his girlfriend is one.
Yeah. Your
girlfriend's a satanic rapper, and you're ignoring it. Cool tattoos, by the way. Love to have you explain them. This is the one line from the song, and I talked to you about it whenever I first listened to it.
That is the one that's trending.
Yeah.
Everyone keeps posting it.
Bacteria is life on Mars, but a heartbeat isn't a life on Earth. Weird. That line?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
That's actually the exact one.
It's a great line. It's probably the best one.
It's a great line.
Yeah. No. But then you go in here, and it's like, I'm praying that the world changes soon. Can't get a doobie on a plane, but there's Uzis in our schools. So right there, he's putting the legalization of marijuana above our gun rights.
Yeah.
While also purporting that there's Uzis in our schools, like making it seem like school shootings happen a lot, which isn't true. Yeah. Now it's trendy to be triggered and pretend you're a victim. It's my race. It's my weight. It's because I'm a Christian. See, right there, he did that whole pivot thing where he anchors the idea, and now you frame Christians as playing victim. Yeah. Subconsciously in your mind, that's an anchoring system there. Oh, come on. All right, get all physical with it. I'll get involved. Boom. He put, this is a democracy. It's partly your decision. This is a constitutional republic, as you're well aware of. If this was a democracy, it would be mob rule, and we would fall like Greece did.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to do right now in Portland.
Yeah, no, we need
electoral
electoral
You want democracy,
colleges.
go right to Portland. You got your Democratic mayor who literally got ran out of his own house by the people he's defending.
Now, this is coming to what we talked about in the very, very beginning. It's the last part. This is the programming from the song. Now, whenever the music drops and it gets to a very simple beat, and it's pretty much Tom almost talking to you, it's the bridge, and this is the lyrics to it. Look, I get it. It's supposed to say get it. It's like the world is going crazy. Seems like a school shooting happens almost daily. Really? Is that true?
Yeah.
The racism, rape culture, hatred that we're facing. So you got Black Lives Matter, Me Too movement, and then hatred that we're facing is way too ingrained for our hashtags to change it. Oh no.
So we got to get out there.
We became so lazy and complacent, afraid of our generation. We think activism's Instagramming memes and complaining. It's a problem that that when there's actually actions you could be taking, but you're triggered, so you just cry like a baby. And I did point out this to you earlier, that this image right here, which I'll have to put up in post because it's way too dark.
Yeah.
It is Tom flashed up for 0.78 seconds of him dressed up as an Antifa member with a bulletproof vest, a ski mask on that's black instead of the white one that he was wearing earlier in the video. And then up here it says NORULES down the side of the wall. No rules. So it's also the red tint of the light is supposed to excite the emotion in people.
Yep. And you got fear in the background.
It's literal programming. And the in particular spot that they decided to put it is on the emphasis in actually actions you could be taking. So they put up this framing right here that it's way too ingrained for our hashtags to change it after emphasizing leftist ideology of problems with our country and basically making a call to action and then subliminally programming people to do it with imagery tied to the music and the emotional provocation.
Yeah.
Check and see how long that was. So from the 2:29:22, it's literally less than a second because this is the last frame, subframe that you actually get to see this image. Less than 1 second. And then it was over. You first got to establish the fact that Tom is being ghostwritten and all of his videos pretty much directed by Nova Rockefeller, who he was best friends with for 10 years before they dated for 3. Mm-hmm. Okay? And then Nova Rockefeller signed to a Mercury Records label, said that she felt like she's owned forever whenever you relate the blog post, her original blog post, to her tweet from the day that she released People So Stupid. You cross-reference them, then she feels like she's owned forever. She still has to contact her industry managers from back in the day, even 7 years later. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so then you look at the fact that she's actually on the roster for Boardwalk Entertainment Group. Then you look at all the Satanism and the person who owns Boardwalk Entertainment Group and Evan Bogart and how he came to fame and where he stands politically. Same thing with her old manager, Jensen Karp, and all the anarchists that she used to run with. It's just not looking good.
No, the entire situation has basically Satanism, Luciferianism, and the entire whole layout.
And what's brilliant is that they got a lot of our constituents, the people who would be the straight white conservative Christian males, to jump on board because they were basically pandering to that audience based off of a YouTube algorithm, and he admits it, no response, exploiting the algorithm based on how upset we were getting with the political correct culture, with the victimhood, with the identity politics, with all the crap that was going on. He was actually being like a person that almost represented how frustrated we were getting. Mm-hmm. And the fact that he was gaining momentum made us feel represented, but in reality, he's been anti-Donald Trump, he's been anti-gun amendments, he's been pro-anarchy and Black Lives Matter, he's been on board with coronavirus mask and all the CDC
it's like
details.
The most blatant, like...
Bait and switch.
Yeah.
It's a bait and switch, 100%.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you kind of just... If somebody wants to like him for picking just small sentences out, like how I said it, it's all over all the libertarian groups
Are going to be like we took him out of context?
Yeah.
Add it all together. It's puzzle pieces. That's what they do. That's the point of this all, is that you're supposed to do your own digging. It didn't take me much. I'm just looking at her own website, her Twitter, and her Instagram. That's all this took. It didn't take much. So Tom MacDonald, I got a question for you. If you're going to be calling out music industry for being satanic, and you're going to call out satanic rappers, why did you get with a satanic girlfriend and let her ghostwrite your crap, ghostwrite your music, and then direct your music videos? It's making you look bad if you're not a part of it. But in particular, you should open up your eyes because you guys aren't independent if you're being distributed and getting help from the promoting of an actual record company that's highly successful. From a person who runs it that's highly successful and left-leaning. I mean, just all together, the whole thing. Like, it's so easy to find. Tom MacDonald is controlled by Nova Rockefeller. Nova Rockefeller is controlled by Boardwalk Entertainment Group, who's controlled by Evan Kid Bogart, who's a leftist elitist.
Yeah. See, I just wish they'd come out and be like, oh, this is what we are. And then we just be like, oh, everybody already knew it. And it's like, so pick your side. It's like, just pick your side. You're either for opposition. God or you're for Satanism.
And we've already asked her, one of her fans asked her, do you still love Jesus? And she didn't say yes. It's not difficult to say yes.
Yeah.
I still love Jesus.
And this comes down to every single person that people look up to, whether you be a musical star, whether you be in a movie.
Yeah.
It comes down to, do you believe in God or do you believe in Satan? Because obviously this is one of the biggest push things. It's like, you know, people can be like, oh, I'm very independent. And then, you know, you start looking back in their life, you're like, yeah, you're just a fucking liar. It's either God or Satan. Which one are you on? It's good or evil. Do you believe in anarchy, no order? You know, your mom basically down the street, you can't even go down the street to have a beer with your best friend because you can get shot. Because some guy decides that, oh, that skin color from back in the day made me really hurt during those protests we were having. Or whatever. And then you abolish police. Yeah, your mom sits there and she starts to have a heart attack. She calls 911. They're not going to be there. You're done.
Yeah.
Or you're going to have social work. You know what they'll say? They're like, we'll come out with a welfare program. We'll have social workers come out. We'll take care of that. Okay. Have social workers go out to a domestic abuse call. That's most likely and statistically when a police officer is shot and killed. Is that a domestic situation? You send a social worker out there when a guy is so pissed off at his wife for cheating and has a knife, slit her throat, and then, you're going to go out there with no gun, with no protection. You're going to say, you're going to talk him down, de-escalate the situation. Yeah, I want to see that work. I want to see anarchy work, but it's not going to. We'll never get to see it because patriots are fighting. Yeah, always.
We'll never have to see it.
Yeah, never have to. Yeah, I mean, well, shit, I've already seen it. Look up Venezuela. Look at everything. Look at every other country. This is the last stronghold. And then you have people like this between millions and billions of dollars that are spread through all of these fucking industries because they just want to be bought. I mean, it goes back to, look up Adam Weishaupt. Look at Adam Weishaupt. That starts at 1776 if you want to start somewhere and then work its way back up to what Illuminati really was. Everybody's like, oh, Illuminati is just a conspiracy. Yeah, it's called the Great Conspiracy for a reason. That's what they call it. It's the Great Conspiracy.
People call it a theory.
Yeah, theory, whatever. But you look at you look at what Adam Weishaupt stood for. They did not want God. They did not even want atheism. They wanted you to believe in Luciferianism.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, and then you put it to present day. Who's a part of it present day? You know, Rockefellers. You think about Adam Schiff. Look up Adam Schiff's past. He's literally right next to the Rockefellers. And he's the person doing the Russia hoax. And it all ties together, whether it be political, Hollywood, music industry. Everything's bought. Everything's controlled. And that's why these people are so scared and they have to run their fucking narratives because Fox is owned by the same people that own CNN. I mean, these people all own the same thing. But they can't play their hands, and I just wish they would. They'd just come out and say, hey, Satanism or God, which one do you want to pick? We're going to have a war. We're going to have some fun. Yeah, no. And I tell you right now, God wins every single time. You want to talk about a silent majority?
Yeah. Yeah, so that's a good point. And what made me sad in particular with that Instagram post where she's asking Nova Rockefeller about the tattoo is that she apologized for loving her creator.
Yeah. It's like we have to show some type of remorse for your bad actions and satanic worship. And I mean, it's like, I have to say sorry because I didn't make the world good enough, fast enough with it, or my people or my religion didn't do its job well enough, right? That's what they'd blame it on. They'd be like, Christians didn't do a good job. They didn't pray enough. That's why we're here, right? If God was real, your prayers would have worked. It's like, no, God's always with you, but I bet you money he's pretty much frowning at America. I mean, there was a pretty good video I saw where it's like, God doesn't just love America. We believe in God, but God loves everyone. That's the point of God. God loves Mexicans just as much as he loves Americans. Israelites just as much as he loves Americans.
Loves humankind.
Yeah. And that's the conflation. Everybody just wants to, push this narrative off, this narrative off. No, God loves everyone. Lucifer wants you to hate God, and he wants you to love yourself. And
a lot of self-worship in Hollywood.
A lot of self-worship. You have to. He wants you to love yourself because you're yourself. You're your own creator at that point. Is what they want you to think. It's like, no, that's why we're pro-life, because everybody has the right to believe that if you want in this nation.
Yeah.
But what we don't believe in is people literally never having that right, and that's called mass abortion. It's the number one leading cause in Black American deaths. I mean, but it just all comes down to who owns Planned Parenthood. It all revolves around God and Lucifer, and true beliefs.
The spiritual warfare is very real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it digs deep. I'm glad you dug deep into Tom MacDonald, because I don't know much about him, but now I do. So
I
he's
felt
pretty
very,
much,
very compelled.
yeah, and that's why I said coming down to you wanted to do a video about him, and now I'm sitting here like, okay, so just like everything else I watch, it goes back to God and Lucifer.
Yeah, no,
Anarchy or anything you do. That's why I can't even watch TV now.
And quite frankly, he actually mentioned it, Tom MacDonald did, in no response, the fact that if you mention his name, it's just for clicks and it's a gimmick and whatnot or whatever nonsense. And that's the reason why I was extremely hesitant at first when the video had first come out. I didn't want to be calling out a rapper that's already in the game whenever I'm obviously trying to do my own thing with Frozen Lake Records and start making music in that industry.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to look like that, the jealous guy, right? So I didn't really mind whenever it was just him capitalizing on the algorithm. But whenever he started to try and program my peers into furthering damage or continuing riots and keeping the momentum on this anarchist fucking globalist movement.
Yeah, everything we're against.
Yeah, everything we're against. It became very clear that I needed to do a bit more research, and I jumped into that rabbit hole, and what I found was very convincing evidence to suggest that this is controlled opposition.
Yeah. And that's what a lot of... I always, whenever I talk to anybody, I tell them, like, everything you think about nowadays, you need to think about in a military aspect. You need to think about this is disinformation. Where can it lead you to? I mean, there's only so many roads that whenever somebody speaks and they want you to think about something, there's only so many roads that it can lead down. You have to think about every road. You think about whether it be Luciferian, whether somebody's talking about like in a libertarian tone, whether somebody's talking about like freedom, whatever it may be, you need to think about it in every single aspect and think about, is this a military, like, is this some type of military psyop they're trying to create so that they can, because they forget about brainwashing. Everybody knows MK Ultra off the top of your head. You say MK Ultra, everybody in Walmart probably knows what you're talking about because there's been documentaries.
There's also been desensitized through Hollywood through different things like the first Zoolander, American Ultra with Jesse Eisenberg and Kristen Stewart. And there's different movies that are starting to expose things. Even in Avengers, they mention Operation Paperclip. They're just slowly. I mean,
History Channel had great documentaries about MK Ultra, and I always bring up some. I'm like, all right, think about MK Ultra. Now think about how MK Ultra never ended, and they just created separate subcontracted portions.
Hey, Out of Shadows. You gotta watch Out of Shadows because that's evidence that MK Ultra never ended.
Yeah, they're just doing MK Ultra on a very, very wide scale.
Yeah.
And they're doing it. They're just literally playing with your emotions, your mind, your religion.
Yep.
Everything all in one.
Preach it, brother.
Yeah. And if you don't look through, I mean, that's the point of waking up, is realizing what it is. I mean, and I posted on Facebook the other day, just go look up Pinocchio, go look up what the old man was talking to the fox about. And Pinocchio, that's all you have to look up. Just what was the old man and the fox talking?
The coach driver.
You will be you will be like, what the shit?
Mind blown.
And then that's whenever I tell you to go back and think about this in a military psyop, because you think about how America's always been under attack.
Right.
They talk about, they're taking our information. Yeah, they're not only taking our information, because they need to know how we're reacting to Tom MacDonald's stuff.
Right.
They need to know how are the people reacting. We need to take everything off of Facebook, which is basically just another way of getting everybody's life information, seeing how are they reacting. Okay, so we need to spread this out. So they're like, okay, we need CNN to say this today, and we need Fox News to say this today.
And the spread of disinformation, as you mentioned earlier, is based off of the media conglomerate corporations, which used to be 6 and now is 5 because, as you mentioned, Disney bought out Fox, right? So,
which everybody wants to say is false.
One of my favorite things, or one of my favorite quotes from Out of Shadows in particular, was where they said, towards the very, very beginning, the only thing that we consume more than air is content, but we actually think about the quality of the air that we breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was extremely powerful to me because it was so true. For the longest time, I just wanted to be entertained. I wanted to be distracted.
That goes back to people, liberals listening to Donald Trump. They don't even understand the quality of what they're getting compared to, I mean, think about what Obama, if I put an Obama speech next to a Trump speech.
Right.
You can see the quality you're getting. A person who's literally bragging about how we're doing well, how he did it well, how we're going to continue to do it well. And then you have a person who's just like, we need to have a national conversation about this. And that's all they just keep wanting more national conversations about shit that never gets passed.
Yes, outside of the fact that Barack Obama was mostly just a comedian and a celebrity personality.
Yeah, no, that's all he was.
They
And
covered him in such a light.
His vice president said it best. He's like, he's a very well groomed black man.
Oh,
what every black man should look to be towards. It's like, yeah, I think every black, white, and any individual on earth should pretty much want to be well maintained, have a good life, good family.
Right. Oh, wow.
What?
I just now noticed that entire recording that we just went through, there's no light on the other side of that.
Good.
Yeah. Anywho, yes. Thank you for joining me on the Veranda Report today, Colby.
That's right. Yeah, no, absolutely. I'll be back on. I'll be more awkward than usual.
Okay.
Because things are getting hectic out here. I need to watch what I say because,
Twitter handle is @AgainGodzilla.
Yep, we're clapping. We're clapping kids out here, okay? Commies will not take over. The globalist agenda is tyrannical. And we will never, ever become a socialist country. God bless America. God bless Donald Trump. And thank you for having me on the Veranda Report.
See you guys next time.